Graph Inc. is your printing solution nationwide and the only place I do my printing business. Hello everyone, it's me, Joey Dean. When I need business cards, flyers, banners, or even just graphic design, I call my friends at Graph Inc. They can print you pretty much anything and have it arrive at your door in short order. Scale tickets, carbon sheets, or whatever you need printed. The professionals at Graph Inc. will make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. They're a 24/7 printer too, so don't worry if it's 7 p.m. on a Friday. They will still make sure you're taken care of. Find them online at gigc.us. The only place I trust for my printing needs is Graph Inc.
If you need a place to cash your paycheck or are looking for a little extra cash, stop by AAA Pawn and Armory. AAA Pawn and Armory has a wide selection of slightly used items such as TVs, guitars, golf clubs, tools, jewelry, and more. They also have a large inventory of rifles, shotguns, and handguns, as well as ammo in stock. So whether you are looking for your next firearm, TV, or other item, or you just need cash a check or pawn something for a little extra money, don't go anywhere but AAA Pawn and Armory, 132 West Kansas Avenue in Garden City.
What is up, Benchwarmers? It is Friday. Happy Friday to you. It's Ridin the Pine right here on Dry River Radio, live from the studios in Ingalls, Kansas. For the next hour, we'll talk a little bit of sports. We got some high school sports we're going to talk about fresh out the gate. But first, I want to tell you that Ridin the Pine is brought to you by AAA Pawn and Armory, 132 West Kansas in Garden City. Go check them out. That's where I get all my firearms and ammunition. They're awesome. Jeremy and the crew, great to work with. They've got some great stuff, slightly used items, some new items. People pawn everything, man. I was one of those people back in the day. I used to be a pawn shop guy. I had so many things at both pawn shops in Garden City, pawn shop in Wichita and Oklahoma City. That's how I used to get by back in the days when H was just a baby. Now he's a big kid, he tells me. He just finished shooting sports, 8 years old. Just finished shooting sports. It was funny the other night. We did shooting sports over in Cimarron, and it was a fun shoot. And so they gave the option for if the kids wanted to let their parents shoot around. And so H is like, yeah, Dad, get up there. And so the rule was the kids had to explain to the parents, help them stand, because we did the standing position, help them get their feet right and all that, even though most of us already knew this. We had to take instructions from the kids, and of course we're messing up our feet on purpose and all that. And so H, he shoots left-handed. And I would have shot left-handed had I been trained that way, I guess. When I was younger, but I wasn't. I was taught to shoot right-handed, so I shoot right-handed. And so he sets me up left-handed because that's how he sets up. And I was like, okay, that's fine with me. Not a big deal. So I shot left-handed for the first 3 shots. There were 5 targets on the board, and I missed all 3, but it was close. It was a little bit high, a little bit low, a little bit to the left or right. I think it was to the right. On the last one. And so then finally I looked at him and I said, can I turn around and shoot right-handed like I'm supposed to be? Yeah, I guess, Dad. Turn around. Boom. Dead center. Next 2. Yes. That's how it's done. That's how you teach your kids that you are still the leader, the king of the castle, that they have not taken it over. So then he had me shoot again a little bit later, and I got 4 out of 5. I just barely missed on one of the little itty-bitty chicken. He gave me the smallest target possible, and I missed on one of them. Just barely. I almost clipped its tail. And then the very last setup, I told him, I said, if you get 3 out of the 5 targets, we'll go to Sonic and get you a slushie with nerds, because he loves cherry slushies with nerds. That's his weakness. And he said, all right. And of course, then he's nervous, pressure's on, and I'll be darned if he didn't get 4 out of 5 and almost got 5 out of 5. He was maybe an eighth of an inch from having 5 out of 5 targets hit. So Very good. Much improved from the beginning to the end. Can't thank the folks at the Gray County 4-H, the Gray County Extension. Uh, they do a great job. Kurt and Sharon and all them over there. Justin did a great job of teaching the kids and being patient with the kids, because I lost my patience a couple of times with my kid. And I had to have that stern voice and give him the look, the dad look. But he's learning. He's getting there, and he's excited about going into the summer. I told him that you get through shooting sports and we'll go shooting. He's got a brand new 22 that he got for Christmas. Haven't put a round through it yet. So we've got to go and break that bad boy in. But really glad that he's learning the fundamentals and learning how to be responsible with a firearm. That's a really cool thing. If you haven't checked out 4-H for your kids, I highly suggest that you can just Google 4-H in your area. You know, if you don't live in Southwest Kansas, you live in Oklahoma or Texas or New York City or whatever, I highly recommend looking into getting your kids into 4-H. Not just shooting sports, but everything. They've got Legos, they've got baking, and of course animals. Agriculture is a big deal, big part of it. But there's a lot more than just showing pigs and sheep and rabbits and all that whatnot. There's a whole lot more to it. There's baking, and my niece did baking. Or does baking. I don't know if she still does it, but I know she did a year or so ago. And it's just great. Kids learn these skills. They get graded on the skills, so there's a level of competence, where you have to improve. You have to get better. And it's really fun for the kids. It was fun to watch them in shooting sports, and it's been fun. I wish that I'd have been able to do 4-H when I was a kid. That opportunity wasn't presented to me, but I wish it would have been, because it would have been really cool to do some of the things that these kids do. And I get to interview the 4-H kids from all around here every year during 4-H week, and it's always great to talk to them, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to talk to these kids, because they get very excited about their projects and the things that they're accomplishing, and it's great to see. Another thing great to see is kids accomplishing it on the hardwood, as we have a few area teams in Southwest Kansas still alive in the postseason, as we're down to the semifinals and finals across the state. We'll start in Class 5A, games played at Wichita State's Koch Arena. The Hayes High girls at 24-1, still alive. They will take on Shawnee Heights today at 3:30 this afternoon at Koch Arena for a chance to play tomorrow in the state championship game. Andover and St. James Academy tip-off at 1:30 this afternoon on the other side of that bracket. So if the Hayes Highs girls can get through Shawnee Heights, who's pretty good, 22-4 on the year, Hayes will take on either Andover or St. James Academy. St. James Academy, the 5 seed, knocked off the 4 seed, Maize South, to get there. So they're the 1 low seed. The 1, 2, and 3, along with the 5, are the final 4 in 5A girls. So good luck to the Hayes High ladies. In Class 4A, state boys basketball coming up later this evening. 5:30 this evening at the Hutch Sports Arena. Hugoton takes on Rock Creek, as the Eagles survived against Andale 56-55 in Dodge City the other night on Wednesday. So now they take on Rock Creek, who is undefeated, the number 1 seed. Rock Creek destroyed Eudora 80-67. So it's going to be a tough one for the Eagles. 22-4 on the year is Hugoton, but the boys will take on Rock Creek. If they can get by them, they'll face either Atchison or Baldwin. Atchison also undefeated, by the way. There's 2 unbeaten teams in 4A boys. So good luck to the Hugoton boys this evening as well. Moved to Class 3A state girls. Holcomb, the Holcomb ladies, still alive. The 3 seed, they take on the 2 seed Silver Lake at 3:30 this afternoon in Hutch Sports Arena. Silver Lake 26-1 on the year. Holcomb coming in at 25-2. So you got the 2-3 matchup that you expect there. You got the 1-4 matchup on the other side. Halstead undefeated 26-0 will take on Osage City, who's 24-3, the 4 seed, at 1:30 this afternoon. But the important one is at 3:30 Holcomb. See if the Lady Longhorns can move on to the state championship game, which would be played tomorrow in Hutchinson. Moving to 1A Division I boys, South Central advances to the finals. That'll be played tomorrow in Dodge City at 4:30. They'll take on St. John's Beloit. And they've added Tipton into the St. John's Beloit name, so it's Beloit St. John's Tipton Catholic. But I've always known it as St. John's Beloit. 23-2 on the year is St. John's Beloit. South Central 22-4. The Timberwolves beat Central Plains on yesterday, 49-30. It's the first time that the Timberwolves have been back in the Final Four in state since 2020, and I was actually there in 2020 when they were part of the Forever Four in Dodge City. I was very excited. I thought that South Central team had a great chance to win a state championship that year. This team also has a pretty darn good chance. The 4 seed South Central in the finals against St. John's Beloit, who is the number 2 seed. So we'll see who comes out on top in that one. Dodge City tomorrow at 4:30. And finally, in Class 1A Division II girls basketball, Buckland still alive as the Aces knocked out Ashland, and then they knocked out Dighton, and now they will take on Lynn. That'll be later today at 3:30 in the quarterfinal game. Lynn, the 7 seed, they knocked off 2 seed Argonia 60-43 on Wednesday. They'll take on Buckland, who beat Dighton 55-35 on Wednesday. Those games will be played, or that game will be played in Emporia at White Auditorium 3:30 today. The other side of that bracket, 1:30 today, Hanover, the number 4 seed, takes on Hutch Central Christian, which is the number 1 seed. So that side of the bracket played out like you thought it would. We'll see who wins in Central Christian Hanover, but Lynn, the surprise with the victory over Argonia. So Buckland's got their work cut out for them. 22-2 on the year are the Lady Aces, as they will try to get that 23rd victory and move on to tomorrow's state championship game. So that's a look at the high school things, or high school games still going on, as we still have area schools competing for a state championship. It'd be great to see all of those schools, since they don't end up playing anybody else from southwestern Kansas the rest of their brackets. Let's see all of them win a state title. How awesome would that be? Thing of note in the NBA last night, SGA of the Oklahoma City Thunder passed Wilt Chamberlain for the most consecutive 20-point games, 127 straight games. He has scored at least 20 points, and the Thunder keep winning in those games as well, as they surpass the Celtics 104-102. They've had a lot of close games lately, and they keep figuring out ways to push through it. So that's pretty cool as far as that goes with the Thunder. So SGA, congratulations to him, 127 consecutive regular season games, scoring at least 20 points. Whew. All right, now we get to have some fun here with the as I'm not sure why I'm getting a phone call right now, but anyway, hopefully you're hearing me. I would assume that you are. Everything seems to be working over here on this side of things, so I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. But either way, we'll figure it out here in a minute, I guess. College basketball in full swing. The Big 12, So much to get into with this. First, we'll start with Kansas State. They made a hire last night of Casey Alexander, who is the head coach at Belmont. And he's won 3 regular season championships at Belmont in his time there, 166-60. However, he has failed to take him to the NCAA tournament. Before that, he spent 6 seasons at Lipscomb, won 1 regular season title, took the Bison to the NCAA tournament in 2018. He also was the head coach at Stetson for 2 seasons. So he's got, 7 plus 6, 15 seasons under his belt. He's made it to the NCAA tournament 1 time. That's it. He had a young team there at Belmont, so there's a chance that some of those kids will make their way over to Kansas State. Sam Orme, who had 12.7 points per game this year. Drew Sharnowski had 10.7 points per game this year. Those guys might follow him to Manhattan. We see that a lot when coaches get hired. They'll have players follow them, so that could happen and help the cause a little bit for Kansas State. But I don't like the optics. 15 years at Belmont, at Lipscomb, and at Stetson. And he's made 1 NCAA tournament, won 3 regular season championships at Belmont, and never won the conference tournament. That's not great. But the thing is, there were opportunities for Kansas State to get other people, and they weren't able to do so. They failed to close. And so this is the best they can do right now. And it's going to take somebody like Casey Alexander to get them back to respectability for anybody to even want to touch the situation at Kansas State. We've documented it here on this show a couple of times with the situation with Jerome Tang, the way he was let go, the withholding of his severance, his buyout. It wasn't a good look for Kansas State. And this is the best they're going to do. And I don't know any K-State fans that are overjoyed. Nobody's over the moon about this hire. They're just like, okay, this is okay. And the thing is, Casey Alexander is going to have to deliver for Kansas State quicker than anywhere else. I've talked about the way Wichita State fans treated Paul Mills the last couple of years as he was rebuilding the program down in Wichita and has them playing in the semifinals of the American tournament, 2 wins away from the NCAA tournament. There's still naysayers and people criticizing every move that he makes. And that's at Wichita State. You're in a bigger stage in the Big 12 at Kansas State, and Kansas State fans aren't going to sit there and let their basketball program get 3 wins and call it good. He's going to have to get them back to 500, back into the pack, back on the fringe of, back on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. He doesn't necessarily have to have them up there with the Arizonas and the Kansases and the Iowa States and the Houstons. He doesn't have to be up there. He needs to get them back to where TCU and Oklahoma State sit, where Tech is. He needs to be in that conversation. And that's still going to be pretty tough, given the way things have gone for Kansas State of late. They've gone backwards with that program. He's going to have to build that program back up. And he's going to have to do it quickly because, like I said, Kansas State fans are not going to put up with another losing season. They'll put up with one. The very first year, they'll put up with 1 losing season. But it better be 2 games under 500 and competitive in the Big 12 tournament. And then the second year, you better have a winning record. And the third year, you better be in the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's how quickly you have to turn things around at this time with the NIL and everything else. That's how quickly you have to turn things around at a mid-major program like Wichita State. And I think it's the same because you have the history of success at Wichita State, and that's why it was such a pressure deal for Paul Mills. But I think it's the same timeline for Kansas State because you have that heightened need for success because you're in a Power 5 conference or Power 4 conference, whatever it is. You're in a power conference, and you've got supporters. You've got the stage all to yourself there in Manhattan. You've got a big brother down the road in Kansas that traditionally has been the basketball school, and so many times Kansas State has been able to nip them. And, Kansas State has a Big 12 title, regular season title. There's success that has been had at Kansas State. And so it'd be good to see them competitive again. I don't think that they're ever going to be, a 25 to 30 win program as long as Kansas is. I don't think the state can hold two programs that do that. I know that the year that Wichita State went undefeated and Kansas had a great year as well, but that didn't last long. I don't think that it's possible when you have teams in separate conferences. Let me phrase it that way. I don't think that KU and K-State could sustainably dominate the Big 12 being, what are they, 2 hours from each other? I just don't see it. Arizona State aren't going to dominate, It's the same thing. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State weren't going to dominate both at the same time for an extended period of time. So I just don't see, as long as Kansas is winning 25 to 30 games, I don't see Kansas State getting there. But I see them 20 to 30. That's a possibility. They should be around 20 every year. And that used to be the mark. You had to have at least 20 wins pretty much to get into the NCAA tournament. Now they're letting some of these schools like Auburn and some others that have, 17, 18 wins right now, they're talking about them being in. Of course, Auburn was on the first 4 out when I looked at bracketology a little bit ago. And they still are. Oklahoma, Auburn, Indiana, and New Mexico on Lou Nardi's projections. But I don't see that as a need even for Kansas State. Because getting into the NCAA tournament consistently is the want. You don't have to have, multiple Big 12 titles and all that. That's nice. But the thing about basketball is, as great as winning in the regular season, winning the regular season title, and winning the tournament title, as great as those things are, long and short of it is, if you don't make the NCAA tournament, it's a failure of a season. You don't have to win your conference. You don't have to win when you're in the Big 12. You don't have to do. There's so many at-large teams that come out of that conference. You got to be one of them. That's it. And then it's a successful season. Then you got to focus on getting farther than you did last year in the tournament, winning. But getting into the tournament is the deal. You have to get into the tournament. And so that's going to be the bar for Casey Alexander as he takes over at Kansas State. I say he has to get in the tournament within the first 3 years. And it would hamper him, I think, if he did it quicker. If he did it in year one, I think that would hurt him because then the bar is set so high at that point that then you struggle. I mean, look at what happened with Jerome Tang. So I think he has to get in. I think it would be better if it was year 2 or year 3 that he gets into the NCAA tournament. I think year 1, get close to 500. Year 2, get over 500. Year 3, get into the NCAA tournament. That's what I think needs to happen for Casey Anthony and the Kansas State Wildcats. Lots more to talk about the Big 12 as it has been a crazy week and a half, 2 weeks with the Big 12 tournament. So we'll talk more about that here in just a couple of minutes after a break. This is Ridin the Pine, presented by AAA Pawn and Armory. Go check them out, 132 West Kansas in Garden City. They've got so many things, firearms, musical equipment, tools, jewelry, electronics, and more. Check them out, AAA Pawn and Armory. Find them on Facebook. AAA Pawn Shop is, they give away, or they don't give away, they do raffles of firearms all the time. So go check them out on Facebook, AAA Pawn Shop, as this is Ridin the Pine, right here on Dry River Radio.
Advances in technology have made hearing a more fashionable thing. Gone are the big, bulky hearing aids of yesteryear, and in are more sleek, modern, and connected devices. Connect to your TV, your phone, and the world around you. If you are having trouble with hearing, then schedule a free hearing test at Miracle Ear of Southwest Kansas, with convenient locations in Dodge City, Garden City, and Liberal. More and more people of all ages are starting their journey towards better hearing, and you can too. Visit miracle-ear.com today to schedule a free hearing test. Miracle Ear of Southwest Kansas. You deserve to hear a better day.
Hello everyone, this is Harrison again to tell you about Spike's Cafe. Spike's Cafe is the place you want to take your family for breakfast or lunch. Trust me, they even cater. So if you have a party, they will bring the food to you or their food truck to your event. Spike's Cafe is the best. My dad takes me a lot of places to eat, so I know what I'm talking about. Spike's Cafe is open Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And on some Fridays, they stay open until 8. So check out their Facebook page for specials or today's hours. Spike's Cafe, only in Ingalls, Kansas.
If you need a place to cash your paycheck or are looking for a little extra cash, stop by AAA Pawn and Armory. AAA Pawn and Armory has a wide selection of slightly used items such as TVs, guitars, golf clubs, tools, jewelry, and more. They also have a large inventory of rifles, shotguns, and handguns, as well as ammo in stock. So whether you are looking for your next firearm, TV, or other item, or you just need to cash a check or pawn something for a little extra money, don't go anywhere but AAA Pawn and Armory, 132 West Kansas Avenue in Garden City.
Welcome back, bench warmers. It is Ridin the Pine right here on Dry River Radio. I'm your host, Joey Dean. It is brought to you by AAA Pawn and Armory, 132 West Kansas in Garden City. Go check out my friends over at AAA Pawn and Armory. Big thank you to our other sponsors, Miracle Ear, as well as Graph Inc. and Spike's Cafe. I utilize all of our sponsors. I took H for a hearing test earlier this year. I've gone there once, a couple of years ago. I'm probably due for another one. Get a free hearing test over at Miracle Ear. Graph Inc., I use them for all my printing. In fact, I've got Drew Peterson from Graph Inc. just sent me a text a minute ago as I had some banners printed. Needed to get some new banners set up for the band and whatnot. And the Wind season coming up is the Garden City Wind will start their season at the end of May, on my birthday, by the way, May 28th. And then there's Spike's Cafe, which, of course, you know I love me some Spike's Cafe. Had their hangover burger yesterday. Fantastic. Had it with the curly fries. I love their curly fries. They're so good. Also bought some cookies from them. And H and I got into the cookies last night. I only had one. I'm very proud of myself. H had two because his mom took a couple bites and then she decided she didn't want sweets. She wasn't feeling great last night, and so it's understandable. Sometimes when I don't feel good, I don't want sweets. But yeah, I always want sweets, and I've done really good. I told Jen, I was like, I don't remember the last time I had a cookie. I didn't have one at Christmas time. I didn't have any fudge or any candy, none of that. It's been since before Thanksgiving that I had cookie or cake or anything like that. So had a sourdough chocolate chip cookie last night from Spike's Cafe. So good. I wanted 2 or 3 more, but stopped at 1. So I'm very proud of myself for that. We'll see what self-control I have tonight, because I'm going to probably have another one tonight. I bought a dozen of them, so they've got to get eaten. There's 9 left. So H and I are going to take care of that, though. The Big 12 decided last night, finally, to swap out the LED court, the glass court that they've been using for the hardwood for the semifinals and the final in the Big 12 men's tournament. They already played the entirety of the women's tournament and the start of the men's tournament on this god-awful glass court. And if you watched it, not only was it ugly, because the color scheme they chose was just dumb in the first place, but then you had the floor lit up, which would be cool if it wasn't during gameplay. It was going on during gameplay. And then on top of that, players were slipping all over the place. They did it throughout the women's tournament. This court should have never seen the men's tournament. After the problems that were had in the women's tournament, it should have never been used in the men's tournament. But the Big 12 and your mark decided that, oh no, it'll be all right. Even though they watched girls, women, slip and slide all over the place during the women's tournament, which it was obvious somebody was going to get hurt, and it did. Texas Tech player, I can't remember his name, got hurt from slipping on the floor. And now, after the quarterfinals, after last night's KU-TCU game where I saw 4 or 5 times guys were slipping, they slip on the hardwood, yeah, but not to this degree. Now they decide that they're going to they did take up last night. They took up the glass court and started putting in the hardwood. They got a lot of work ahead of them before the games this afternoon. Afternoon and evening, as Arizona and Iowa State, and then KU and Houston play tonight. 6 o'clock is the Iowa State-Arizona game, 8:30 for KU and Houston. So they got to finish up, get the floor in, get it all set, but it should have never come to this. They should have, after the women's tournament, realized what a mistake they made. Because it was obvious that it was a mistake. But Bray Yormark and the Big 12 decided that, no, we're not going to admit our mistake. We're going to try to push this through. Even though everybody, if you looked at the internet at all, everybody was blowing it up and saying this is the worst court. This is the worst decision. And it was funny because Arizona fans, I'm convinced that Arizona fans on all these chats and things only like gambling, drinking, and prostitutes because they all desperately want the tournament in Vegas. They want it there because it's closer to Arizona. They complain because it's a home game for KU and Iowa State and K-State and blah, blah, blah. Never mind the fact that it's in the center of the country and you have, from coast to coast really, a conference. You have UCF and West Virginia on the East Coast. They probably don't care, but the travel from there to Vegas versus there to Kansas City, it's a big difference in mileage. But I keep reading from these Arizona fans, they're the loudest, about how there's nothing to do in Kansas City, which is just baloney. First off, if you love gambling so much that you think it needs to be in Vegas, there's a casino in Kansas City. You can go to the casino. There's plenty of bars. You can go drinking. There's also museums, arcades, family fun centers. What else is there? Like historical places, barbecue places. The best damn barbecue in America, in the world, is in Kansas City. There's minor league hockey. I mean, there's plenty to do outside of just hanging out at the Sprint Center. If you've ever hung out in the Power and Light District, it's fantastic. And so, for these people to, there's nothing to do in Kansas City, blah, blah. No, it's because you're not even trying. The Negro League Baseball Museum is fantastic. Even if you're not a huge baseball fan, it is still amazing. There's no reason that you can't be entertained in Kansas City. Other than prostitutes, what does Vegas have that Kansas City doesn't? There's nothing. There's an equivalent to everything. Just not legal prostitution in Kansas City. I'm sorry. But there's nothing else. They're both big cities. Kansas City bigger than Vegas. And they have entertainment. And Kansas City has family-friendly entertainment. You could take your kids to the games in Kansas City. So I'm tired of that narrative that Kansas City has nothing, because it does have a lot of things. Especially when you live in southwest Kansas. Going to Kansas City is like kid in a candy store kind of thing. What are we going to do today? Because there's so much to do. It's just, people are unappreciative and they want things their way. Well, sorry, people from Arizona. Arizona fans, BYU fans have been loud about it too. You got accepted into a conference that was already established because your conference, you and the other schools couldn't keep it together. So, welcome to the conference for the foreseeable future until I think 2031. The tournament's in Kansas City. Get used to it. And I bring that up because there were people saying, well, if this was in Vegas, they wouldn't have had that floor. Are you kidding me? They would have 100% had that floor. First off, because it was the decision of the Big 12, not the Sprint Center in Kansas City. It was the Big 12's decision to put that floor in. And then finally their decision to take it out. That 100% would have been the floor in Vegas. And it probably would have been accompanied by dancers and screaming lights overhead as well. Because it's Vegas. Wouldn't have happened. Are you kidding me? Like, people are so desperate to have things their way that they point out, oh, this would have never. Yes, it would have. Stop being an idiot. And there's just too many idiots with some of these schools in the Big 12. Trust me, there's plenty at Kansas State and Kansas too. I know. I'm aware the reputation that KU fans have. As a guy who went to KU, I understand. As a guy who grew up watching K-State, I get it. There's a reason that I make fun of catbackers. Every school has their people, and they're usually a little bit louder than everybody else and a little more annoying. But overall, to a man, Kansas and Kansas State and Iowa State, they don't really look at it as home games. Yeah, they have a ton of fans. But that's a tough place to go and win because this conference is tough. The teams they play are tough. And it doesn't matter where you put it. I've also heard, well, Missouri isn't in the Big 12, so why would the tournament be held in Missouri? Seriously? I've seen the suggestion for having it in Tulsa. That's not a terrible idea. I don't mind that. Centrally located is where this tournament should be. The Final Four is in Indianapolis. If Arizona makes a Final Four, are these fans going to complain and say that the Final Four needs to be moved to Vegas? Come on. Give me a break. We see the same arguments in football, too. It's annoying. But not near as annoying as the Big 12 deciding finally to admit their mistake. And it's better late than never, sure, I guess, except for the kid that busted his knee on this. Except for the teams that had to figure out and learn how to play on glass. That couldn't have been easy. To change things up like that. I mean, I couldn't imagine playing on a glass floor. I just couldn't. I mean, I could barely play on a wood floor in the first place, so adding that element would have been just disastrous for me. But especially when it's something as important as your conference championship game, where the winner moves on to the NCAA tournament, both men's and women's, where some of these teams needed a win or two to get in that large bid. Man, the Big 12 really, really messed up. This floor should have never been rolled out for the men's game, for any of the men's games. After the women's tournament, after they saw what a disaster it was, they should have gotten rid of it then. They should have gotten rid of it after the first round of the women's tournament. But I understand the thought of, everybody's played on this, so keeping it the same makes the competition more equal. I get that. So at minimum, they should have gotten rid of it after the women's tournament. And they didn't. And they wait until the semifinals and final. And now, today and tomorrow, we'll have a wood floor, which is great. It's about time. Just crazy that it took this long. Lots of teams on the bubble. Of the state of Kansas teams, Kansas right now projected to be a 4 seed. That is in the Midwest region. They would play Sam Houston right now as 13 seed. There's been a lot of talk about Miami of Ohio, who lost to UMass yesterday in their conference tournament. Look, they were going to lose sooner or later. They are still last 4 byes. So last 4 teams in, not to have to play in the first 4. Miami of Ohio at the bottom of that. There's a lot of people upset that they're in the tournament anyway, or they're projected to be in as an at-large. Look, you go 31-0, and you have a record of 31-1, you deserve to be in the tournament. Are you telling me that, they don't deserve, but Auburn at 17-17 or whatever they are does? Like, come on. This team, doesn't matter what their schedule was. You talk about how easy their schedule might have been, how easy their conference is. Nobody else went undefeated in their conference, or even close. Nobody. It's hard to do. That's a reason 6 teams have done it in the history of the NCAA. 6. That's it. It's hard to do. So you're darn right they deserve to go to the NCAA tournament. I just can't believe the thinking of people. And I get frustrated in football season because of the same thing. Oh, Boise State or whoever doesn't deserve to be in because they're a small school and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Your team wins 6-7. You don't get to have an opinion. Just because it's a smaller school. Whew. Some of the greatest games that I can remember in my lifetime were smaller schools that beat bigger schools. Lehigh beating Duke. I mean, we've seen UNLV run the table. Wichita State, George Mason, Southern Illinois. And that's just the NCAA tournament, where we celebrate the underdogs. Why would you not celebrate Miami of Ohio and just criticize their schedule? So what that they played an easy schedule? If they show up and get throttled the first round of the tournament, good for you. You get to talk about how right you were. But they deserve the chance. We don't need more mediocre schools that have proven that they're not that good, that have lost half their games. We don't need more of those in the tournament. Once again, it used to be a rule, if you had 20 wins, you're pretty much in. Even the smaller schools, you get to that 20, 25 wins, somewhere in there, pretty good shot at getting a large bid. Now, there's so many big... I think of them like old cars. These big behemoth schools like Auburn. Old junker cars that barely start up. They blow a ton of smoke into the atmosphere. And they putt along at a smooth 50 miles an hour because the old guy driving them is still stuck in the 1980s. And so they're rocking 50 miles an hour in a 65. That's what I look at Auburn and all these other schools with their record. It just they're slow. They're bogged down. They're not that good. They're not efficient at all. Otherwise, they'd have a better record. Well, their competition. Well, that's the competition they're going to play in the NCAA tournament, and they've proven they can't beat them. Miami hasn't played that competition, so let's see if they can beat them. At least that's something new, that's something different, that's entertaining. Oh, look, it's Auburn playing against Kentucky again. Yawn. Kentucky wins by 25. Like, come on. It's stupid. The argument is dumb. Miami of Ohio is going to get in the NCAA tournament as an at-large. Deal with it. Because that's the way it is. Everybody that complains about it, get a better life. Because that's just the way it is. The Big 12 slated to get 8 teams into the tournament. They are all pretty much safely in. UCF is part of that last 4 buys. Cincinnati is part of the next 4 out. So they're in the 8 teams that don't get in. Other than that, pretty much everybody else is in good shape. BYU slated to be a 6 seed. Houston a 2 seed. Kansas, as I mentioned, a 4 seed. Texas Tech a 4 seed. Oh, Arizona a 1 seed. And I hope Arizona gets thumped today by Iowa State, by the way. I can't stand Arizona fans. I just can't stand them. Arizona State fans I can't stand in football season. They're the worst too. TCU a 9 seed. And I think that was it. UCF slated as a 10 seed as one of the last teams in. Iowa State a 2 seed, by the way. So yeah, 8 teams slated from the Big 12 to get in to the NCAA tournament, according to ESPN's bracketology. So it's going to be fun, man. I'm excited. I always love the this time of year, as I love March Madness, and getting mad about it. And these deals are just what they are. On the bubble watch, they still have Miami as a should be in. Which they should be. Santa Clara, St. Louis also in the should-be-ins. Locks from the non-power conferences, Gonzaga, who already won the West Coast Conference, St. Mary's, and Utah State should be in as well. Work to do for the Shockers, who play tomorrow. They will play, it's either, I'm trying to remember, Tulsa or North Texas tomorrow. In the semifinals of the American. If they win, they will go on to the finals, and if they win that, they get to the NCAA tournament in Paul Mills's 3rd year, and everybody has to say, I'm sorry for hating on Paul Mills at the start of the season. But lots of good basketball going on today. There's games already live tonight, or this afternoon. Ohio State and Michigan currently playing. Michigan up by 2 on Ohio State. Florida beating Kentucky by 11 right now, as there's some games going on across college basketball. Of course, we've got state basketball here in the state of Kansas later today, and the World Baseball Classic as well. We'll talk a little bit about that and make the picks for the week after the break. This is Ridin the Pine, presented by AAA Pawn and Armory right here on Dry River Radio.
Advances in technology have made hearing a more fashionable thing. Gone are the big, bulky hearing aids of yesteryear, and in are more sleek, modern, and connected devices. Connect to your TV, your phone, and the world around you. If you are having trouble with hearing, then schedule a free hearing test at Miracle Ear of Southwest Kansas, with convenient locations in Dodge City, Garden City, and Liberal. More and more people of all ages are starting their journey towards better hearing, and you can too. Visit miracle-ear.com today to schedule a free hearing test. Miracle Ear of Southwest Kansas. You deserve to hear a better day.
Is that trash bin starting to smell a little funky? Then it's time to set up a monthly or quarterly subscription with MC Bin Cleaners. Or even just a one-time cleaning. Currently serving Dodge City, Mineola, Cimarron, and Ingalls. They don't just rinse out the bins, they clean and sanitize them, getting rid of not just the smell, but harmful bacteria and germs like Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, and more. Plus, a clean bin helps keep rodents away. They supply everything, too, from the water and the cleaning products to the disposal of the dirty water. No mess left behind. Cleaning both residential and commercial bins. Follow MC Bin Cleaners on Facebook and TikTok, and visit their website, mcbincleaners.com. Subscriptions starting as low as $20. Locally owned and operated, cost-effective, and eco-friendly. Visit mcbincleaners.com today.
If you need a place to cash your paycheck or are looking for a little extra cash, stop by AAA Pawn and Armory. AAA Pawn and Armory has a wide selection of slightly used items such as TVs, guitars, golf clubs, tools, jewelry, and more. They also have a large inventory of rifles, shotguns, and handguns, as well as ammo in stock. So whether you are looking for your next firearm, TV, or other item, or you just need to cash a check or pawn something for a little extra money, don't go anywhere but AAA Pawn and Armory, 132 West Kansas Avenue in Garden City.
Welcome back, Bench Warmers. Final segment of the program. It's Ridin the Pine, presented by AAA Pawn and Armory, right here on Dry River Radio. I'm your host, Joey Dean. Glad to have you along for the show today. Don't forget, if you missed any of it, you can always go to our website, dryriverservices.com, as I'll have it archived on there. And you can also download the podcast shortly after the show. It gets saved, and you can download it here in an hour or so. And on all your favorite podcast streaming services. So whether you're doing Spotify or Apple or Amazon, whatever you're doing, YouTube, you can download the podcast and listen to it on those platforms as well. World Baseball Classic has been a lot of fun. They're setting all sorts of records with viewership. Man, the U.S. got lucky. I thought Mexico and Italy was going to be a closer game than that. Vinny Pasquantino, thank goodness for him. Gotta love the Pasquatch, as he had 3 home runs. Italy beat Mexico, vaulting the United States into the quarterfinals, where they take on Canada tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox. That will be the second game of the day. Korea and Dominican Republic on FS2 at 5:30 today. But United States and Canada, we've seen this one before, right? We saw it in hockey. If the United States loses to Canada, you guys might not hear from me for a while, because I trash talked a lot after the U.S. beat Canada in hockey. So if they beat us in our sport, I will have a problem with that, 100%. The chickens will come home to roost at that point. So hopefully the United States does beat Canada in their sport, as the baseball is still America's national pastime. I don't care what you say about football. Tomorrow, World Baseball Classic games, the other quarterfinals, Puerto Rico and Italy. Should be a good one, 2 o'clock on FS1. And 8 o'clock tomorrow night on Fox, Venezuela and Japan should be a very good one as well, as the quarterfinals going to be fun. I'm excited for this World Baseball Classic final weekend, as we get through here, and then to Monday, the Monday games, as that'll be another semifinal on Monday. Tuesday, I think, are the finals. Tuesday the finals on Fox. So U.S. has to win. They got to win 3 more games. Beat Canada today, and then hopefully beat either Dominican or Korea on Sunday, and then Tuesday get the victory in the championship. That'd be great. I'd love to see the U.S. win the World Baseball Classic. Let's get to the picks for today. We'll start with the World Baseball Classic, as Korea and the Dominican play today. Give me the Dominican in that one. United States and Canada, USA, baby. Tomorrow, Puerto Rico and Italy. Really liked Italy. They were really fun to watch. Puerto Rico's solid, but give me Italy in that one. Venezuela and Japan. I find it hard to go against Venezuela after 2 years at the Coastal Classic, watching them there. Give me Venezuela in that quarterfinal. College basketball, like I said, 2 games already going on. Games to be played later today, 1:30 on Big Ten Network. Wisconsin and Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. Give me Illinois in that one. Tennessee and Vandy at 2:30 on ESPN. I will take Vandy in that one. Seton Hall and St. John's, 4:30 on Fox in the Big East tournament. Take St. John's. 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. Purdue and Nebraska. My boy Rob would be upset. Same with Enright if I didn't take Nebraska, so I will take the Cornhuskers, even though it makes me feel dirty. 6 o'clock on ESPN, Big 12 tournament. Iowa State and Arizona. Give me Iowa State. I'm all about the Cyclones today. 6 o'clock on ESPN2, Miami and Virginia. Give me the Cavs. Go Hoes. As the ACC tournament, give me Virginia. 6 o'clock on the SEC network, Ole Miss and Alabama in the SEC tournament. I will take Alabama. Ole Miss, a nice story to get here to the quarterfinal, but give me Bama. 7 o'clock on FS1, Georgetown and UConn in the Big East tournament. Give me UConn. Big Ten Network at 8 o'clock, UCLA and Michigan State. I will take the Spartans. 8:30 on ESPN2, Clemson and Duke. I will take the Blue Devils in that one. 8:30 on SEC Network, Oklahoma and Arkansas. I will take the Razorbacks. And 8:30 on ESPN, Kansas and Houston. Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk. Tonight in the American, North Texas and Tulsa. Man, I really want North Texas to win, but I'm going to have to take Tulsa in the American quarterfinal. Right now, UAB beating Charlotte in the other side of that quarterfinal. Tomorrow, Wichita State will play either North Texas or Tulsa. Give me Wichita State. I don't care who it is. Give me the Shockers. I think the Shockers and the Jayhawks win their conference tournaments. How about that? There's my prediction for the day. Once again, if you missed the show, you can always give it a listen. Go to our website, dryriverservices.com. And, of course, you can download the podcast as well on any of your streaming platforms where you get your podcasts. Big thank you to all our sponsors, Graph Inc., Spikes Cafe, Mirror Clear, and, of course, AAA Pond and Armory. This has been Ridin the Pine right here on Dry River Radio. I'll catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.